Glycogen storage diseases. Glycogen storage diseases, these are inborn errors of metabolism. These are inborn errors of metabolism. Glycogen storage disease type 1. It is also called Van Gerk's disease. Glycogen storage disease type 1 is also called Van Gerk's disease. Most common type of glycogen storage disease is type 1. Most common type of glycogen storage disease is type 1. Incidence is 1 in 1 lakh live births. Glycogen storage disease type 1 is also called Van Gerk's disease. Most common type of glycogen storage disease is type 1. Incidence is 1 in 1 lakh live births. Salient features of the diseases are this is glycogen storage disease. Type 1 is glucose 6 phosphatase is deficient. Glucose 6 phosphatase is deficient. Fasting hypoglycemia. Fasting hypoglycemia. Hyperlipidemia. Hyperlipidemia. Lactic acidosis and ketosis. Salient features glucose 6 phosphatase is deficient, fasting hypoglycemia, hyperlipidemia, lactic acidosis, and ketosis. Glucose 6 phosphate is accumulated, so it is channeled to HMP shunt pathway, producing more ribose and more nucleotide. Glucose 6 phosphate is accumulated, so it is channeled to HMP shunt pathway, producing more ribose and more nucleotides. Purines are then catabolized to uric acid. Purines are then catabolized to uric acid, leading to hyperuricemia. Purines are then catabolized to uric acid, leading to hyperuricemia. Glycogen gets deposited in the liver. Massive liver enlargement may lead to the cirrhosis. Children usually die in early childhood. Treatment: give small quantity of food at frequent intervals. Glycogen gets deposited in liver. Massive liver enlargement may lead to the cirrhosis. Children usually die in early childhood. Treatment: give small quantity of food at frequent intervals. Salient features of the disease: glucose 6 phosphatase is deficient, fasting hypoglycemia, hyperlipidemia, lactic acidosis, and ketosis. Glucose 6 phosphate is accumulated, so it is channeled into HMP shunt pathway, producing more ribose and more nucleotide. Purines are then catabolized to uric acid, leading to hyperuricemia. Glycogen gets deposited in liver. Massive liver enlargement may lead to cirrhosis. Children usually die in early childhood. Treatment: give small quantity of food at frequent intervals. Diseases type 1A, Van Gerk's disease, deficient enzyme here is glucose 6 phosphatase. That clinical features: fasting hypoglycemia, hepatomegaly. Type 1A. Glycogen storage diseases, disorders, type 1A, Van Gerk's disease, deficient enzyme, glucose 6 phosphatase. Clinical features: fasting, hypoglycemia, hepatomegaly. Type 1B, deficient enzyme, endoplasmic reticulum glucose 6 phosphase transporter. Type 1B, deficient enzyme, endoplasmic reticulum glucose 6P transporter. Clinical features same as above, plus neutropenia and recurrent infections. Type 2, Pompe's disease, lysosomal maltase, enzyme, deficient enzyme, lysosomal maltase. Accumulation of the glycogen in lysosomes of liver, heart, and muscle, death before 2 years. Accumulation of glycogen in lysosomes of liver, heart, and muscle, death before 2 years. Pompe's disease, lysosomal maltase is a deficient enzyme, accumulation of glycogen in lysosomes of liver, heart, and muscle, death before 2 years. Type 3, limit dextrinosis, Cory's disease. Deficient enzyme, debranching enzyme, highly branched dextrin accumulates, fasting hypoglycemia, hepatomegaly. Type 4, amylopectinosis or Anderson's disease. Deficient enzyme, branching enzyme, glycogen with few branches, hepatosplenomegaly, mild hypoglycemia, death by age of 5. Type 5, McCordley disease. Enzyme, deficient enzyme, muscle phosphorylase, exercise intolerance, accumulation of the glycogen in muscles. Type 6, Hertz disease. Liver phosphorylase is a deficient enzyme, mild hypoglycemia, hepatomegaly. Better prognosis than other types. Type 7, Torres disease. Muscle PFK, glycogen in muscles accumulated, exercise intolerance, hemolytic anemia. Type 8, liver phosphorylase kinase. Mild hypoglycemia, better prognosis. Type 9, muscle phosphorylase kinase is a deficient enzyme, mild exercise intolerance, better prognosis. Type 10, protein kinase A disease, hepatomegaly deficient enzyme, protein kinase A, and hepatomegaly.